Morning, you guys. Morning. How is everybody doing this morning? I wish you could see how I have my tripod set up today. It's actually a little bit comical, but that's okay. I am doing really good this morning. I've got my gorgeous cup of coffee. That my husband made for me. It's a little bit like motor oil, but that's okay. He's just very heavy-handed on the espresso when he makes his coffee. And that's okay, because some days you need it. And I'm just sitting here scrolling through my Facebook and TikTok being so jealous of everybody with all of their Dragon Con vlogs and pictures and things. I will get there, you guys. I want to be there so badly. And maybe next year, but definitely 2025 is my year for Dragon Con. You guys are going to get a vlog. Also, I completed a whole sheet. Like, remember at the beginning of the year when I wasn't even sure if I was going to do these? Look at this shit. It's done. 100 books, completely filled out. Started on my second one. I'm 2 books in on my second one. And we're talking about that first book on there today, which is the fact that I read my first Kennedy Ryan book. She's a romance author that is all over my TikTok a lot, but I had never read a book by her yet. And everybody always talks about Kennedy Ryan books. And I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. It had one of the longest holds at the library that I yet have experienced. It was a 6-month hold at the library, I feel like. And that is Kennedy Ryan's Kingmaker. That was my 101st read of the year. So we did Kennedy Ryan's Kingmaker, and I did not know what to expect. Like I said, I've never read a Kennedy Ryan novel before. I knew she did primarily romance. For some reason, I was expecting it to be like really spicy, and it wasn't. There was not, I don't know if book 2 has more spice in it than the first book, because I believe it's a duology. But the Kingmaker did not have a lot of spice in it. But it was a really solid story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was about a woman who is Native and fights for Native rights and things like that. And she meets a guy when she's 17 at a rally or a protest, pipeline protest. And turns out that he is actually the son of the oil tycoon who's, doing the pipeline. And it spans, I think, 30 years, this book, because there's quite a few time jumps. It starts out with her at like 16 or so doing the ceremony with her mother to like make her into a woman. It's one of their spiritual ceremonies. And then her mother disappears. She becomes a missing Indigenous woman, which makes, obviously, the main female character in this book very passionate about Indigenous women's rights and missing Indigenous women. And so the next time you meet up with this couple is when she's 17 and he's like 21. And they meet up at this protest. And then we do another time jump. I believe it's like 4 or 5 years. She's 21 now. And they meet up in Amsterdam. They spend a week together. They fall in love. And then she finds out shortly after Amsterdam who he is. That he is this oil tycoon's son. And she feels very lied to and just angry about it for a really long time. She feels like he deceived her. And so we do another time jump. It's a lot of time jumps in this novel. If you do not like novels that do time jumps, this one isn't probably for you. But we time jump again, as she is now a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. for like mostly women and women of color, political party members, but she gets rekindled with this guy again because his brother is running for presidency, and she values a lot of the things on the platform that his brother is running for, and so they're meeting back up in their 30s now. And it's just a really, really good story. I do not love the cliffhanger that she left us on. She left us on a really big cliffhanger in book 1 going into book 2. And the reason I say that, I don't mind a cliffhanger, but this cliffhanger kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't feel like it's going to add a whole lot to the story. I have not read the second book in the series yet, but it just seems like it's just like a cliffhanger to be a cliffhanger, if you know what I mean. Like, oh no, somebody's gonna drop her and she's gonna die. But we know she's not gonna die because there's a whole ass book 2. So, Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. It is not my favorite genre, which is just romance for romance sake. I prefer my romance with a little historical romance, monster romance, supernatural romance like vampires or werewolves. Give me something else in there, not just romance in two regular people in the world that I live in. It's just a little done. I've read it all. You know what I mean? When you're reading 100 plus books a year, it's really hard for people to come up with new ideas sometimes for you. So yeah, it's not that I hated this book. It was just good. And my fantasy TBR, my fantasy romance specifically, but just fantasy books in general TBR is so long that it's one of those things I have no clue why I would read something that is just, okay to me when I have so many other books that I really, really, really want to be reading. So I don't know that I'll read anything else by Kennedy Ryan, but I did enjoy The Kingmaker for what it was. And I'm glad that I read it. I had serious FOMO. I wanted to see if I was missing out on something or not. I wasn't. It was a good romance, but it didn't do anything crazy for me. Not like Ellie Silver's books. Now, Elsie Silver, I think it's Ellie Silver, her Western novels, her cowboy books, that whole series, Flawless, Powerless, Hopeless, Heartless, woo, those are chef's kiss. If you're looking for romance that is really spicy and really good, and even if you're not a romance reader, you will probably like these. I recommend those over the Kennedy Ryan book. I honestly do. What else is coming up? I am reading Throne of Glass. It is September Throne of Glass for Lauren. You guys know I've read the first 2 books, Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass. We've got 6 books left in the series, I think. We are pounding them out. I'm going to do a long vlog of me reading all of the Throne of Glass novels. And, yeah. That's going to be sometime in September, because I don't know how long it's going to take me to pound out those 8 novels, but I'm going to slowly piece together a really long vlog for that. And yeah, I'm just really excited about that. This rest of this Throne of Glass has been on my TBR for a long time. I've owned these books since like 2019 or 2020, and I haven't read them. I think I'm going to do what is it called? We read both of the books at one time. It's not combined read, but that's what I'm going to call it because I can't think of the word. I'm going to do the combined read version of reading through the series. I did read Assassin's Blade first, though, and then Throne of Glass, and then I'm going to proceed to Crown of Midnight, etc., etc., etc. And yeah, I'm excited to share that with you guys. Probably going to get a grocery haul on Monday because those do really well on this channel. Like, you guys really like to watch those. So I'm going to keep giving them to you. And yeah, that's everything for me. I love you all so much. And I will see you guys on Saturday with a new video.